Good morning and welcome to TSM 348. I remain your facilitator, Dr. Obinna Ugochukwu, Alex-Onyeocha. This week we'll be looking at the second topic, which is the rail, ground transport. Then we'll also be looking at the cruise as it is. We'll be looking at the cruise as it is. When you look at rail, we'll be talking about the movement of the train. We'll look at also some developmental issues, some technological issues that has affected the rail. How has it contributed to the hospitality and tourism? How has it brought growth to the industry? We'll also be looking at it. We'll be examining all those things this week, and I think we need to lay emphasis. We need to lay emphasis to explaining the importance of rail as a means of mass transportation and its importance to accommodation, that is hospitality and tourism industry. Now we also will be discussing the importance of automobiles. Now when we look at automobiles, we're talking about vehicular movements, we're talking about cars in the growth and development of the accommodation in the hospitality industry. How has this contributed to the growth of the industry? This same class will be discussing the challenges and the demand facing the accommodation institution due to the technological advancements. Okay, and we also try to describe the services offered by the cruise liners, the people that do the cruise. What type of services do they offer? We will also be discussing the importance of the cruise ship as a means of transportation to the hotel and tourism industry. How has it affected the industry? How has it contributed to the industry? How has it been meaningful to the industry? We will be looking at all this. We will also wrap it up with the various segments of a cruise market. How is it profitable? Is it something that worthwhile? Is it contributing to the domestic growth of the industry? On what capacity can we rate it? How can we see it? So these are the things we'll be looking at this week, and it's going to be very interactive, as I have actually sent the material to your emails, and I believe we also have some channel to chat when necessary, and we'll also be having a little class discussion to do in the line of the course. So I'm inviting you this Saturday, the 9th day of this October, to join me as we discuss these very aspects of the course, and I believe you will be happy you did. Thank you and welcome. Yes. um the importance of rail as a means of mass transportation and its relevance to accommodation in tourism industry. Mm, Already you will understand that our discussion mostly is looking at the trends development now. we are looking at the development. And from the beginning, we had a locomotive steam rails. Okay, and these are available from 18 centuries. And in the United States, they had their first rail by 1930. You know, it employed about 300 million people, and also the world leading industry contributor to the world economy. It produces 10% of the world gross national product, GNDP. Rail has been very important aspect of transport. The suppliers of various transport services play a significant role in making it possible for travelers to visit, see, experience, and enjoy destination and their facilities. Okay, this has made so many things very possible for us. The the rail system has developed from 18th century. Now, prior to the advent of the rail travel, tourists have to travel by horses, carriage, and by the time rail travel came into being, it was by comparison as far much better efficient, less costly, more comfortable, and even much safer. You know, the rail the rail had replaced the stage of coaches, as you can see for yourself. It took over the the uh, the travels done by human and horses. It brought a system that people can actually move of mass movement, you know. And as this development goes, the invention of the rail continue to develop, and and tourists continue to move. However, with the invention of the rail system, a journey of several months could be achieved in 6 days by more tourists at a particular time. The railroad also had excellent dining chairs and sleeping baths in order to ensure passengers' safety and comfort. Although the invention of automobile, uh, um, after the Great Depression and the World War II threatened the railway industry, it came with the innovation to avert its collapse. Now, we have the bullet trains, mostly found in Europe and Asia, which can move at a speed of 250 per miles per thing. No, it was more of road transport thing. So it was on ground. People can access it. It moves people from where it was. Unlike the train, you need to visit the rail stations. The importance of automobile to the development of accommodation and the hotel and tourism industry was very tremendous, because the innovation of automobile, hotels and accommodation and restaurants we have mostly found in and around the train stations before. But with the development of automobiles, it was a great growth in the intercity travel and an inevitable change in the location and design of accommodation. So accommodation left the railways and began to go into the cities where people are. You know, we moved eateries to where people are because people can now move within the ground system. Instead of going to the track, instead of going to the railways, they can now move within the ground system. So the design for accommodation changed to conform to the family unit, because the automobile encouraged traveling by family groups. Because of there is a car, you can decide to now carry your to move. The demand the demand in in accommodation the demand in accommodation also began on its own, as you can see there, that the demand that the accommodation sector had was due to immense growth and evolution in transport sector. So without the transport sector, the hotel accommodation, the hospitality accommodation would have had so much issues, because people would have not been able to move. As such, the locations and people having a home away from home would have not existed. So as the transport industry gets modernized and more efficient in transporting more and more numbers of people at a single time. So accommodation has to increase to cater for the increasing number of tourists. Tourists are those who are moving, the tourists and the businessmen. These are the great patrons of the activities, and as such, more space also has to be created around the accommodation to serve as car parks. So, from the history, the background of the trail rail stations and system has played a major role in the development of the hospitality industry. It was when the road serves a major means of transportation that the old houses, inns, and taverns along the turnpikes and carriage road gave way to hotels, convenient to the road stations. Trains had dining carts and the sleeping compartments to give passengers their required comfort. So, I've already told you about the Depression era. I mean the 1930s, when the World War II came in. So there was a decline. There was a decline in the service of the stations. People began to withdraw. So because of this decline, the automobiles setting in at that period make the peak of transportation, and the tourists began to get its movement again. So there is confidence in moving. So the automobiles have made it possible for families to travel. I've said that, and you know that it also become very important. Such a rapid growth has been fundamentally linked to transport system and the technological progress of the last 150 years. So there was an advancement from the railroads to the automobiles and on to another mode of transportation, like the airplane has made traveling on a larger scales possible for both leisure and business. This amount to a serious demand, a serious demand for accommodation in the hospitality industry. It has mount for a serious demand for accommodation in the industry. So as such, I I would want us at this point get ready. Let's do a little discussion on what we have had so far. How would you characterize the 1800 eras in the hospitality and tourism development? Let them see where to go next. So the railroads are more cost effective and more efficient means of transportation, especially in densely populated areas. Europe have also developed trains that can travel up to 250 kilometers per hour. Now, for instance, in France, Trice Grand Vitesse, a very high speed runs between Paris and Marseille in 3 hours. The channel tunnel links England with France and enables both train and automobiles to travel the 23 miles of the English tunnel. As with the United States of America, the Japan, and the Europe rail system are heavily subsidized by the respective government. So you can now say that subsidy can also help rail to move faster. So subsidy becomes a part of rail system to subsidize the cost of passengers using rail system. Now, without such subsidy, the road and the air would be more congested. So that is exactly what so many countries are facing today. You see that their rail system are congested, road system are congested because the rails are not moving. Our country, Nigeria, is taking part of this. You can see that our road system are very congested because we don't have rails. So a lot of Americans visiting Europe take advantage of the Euro train pass. The Euro train pass, which must be purchased from travel agents outside Europe, allows visitors to travel throughout continental Europe. So outside outside this, people will also be making money. Now, let's see the services offered by the cruise liners. And, in the hospitality industry, the business, the ship has gone through tremendous change. I think in my last class, I told you about a ship that you can get anything you want in it. And then so many people also go for sightseeing using the ship to do their sightseeing. It makes them to actually enjoy what they are doing. Although sightseeing trip have almost disappeared, except for the for a few on the Rahan and the Nice that is existing still existing. Then and also similar tourists are also interested and attracted by the canals of the Amsterdam and also in the harbors of Rotterdam. These are the places we can be still be talking about cruise passengers. Most cruise ships sail under foreign flags. These flags are known as flag of convenience because registering these ships in countries such as Liberia, Bahamas, and Panama means fewer tax regulation and little or no taxation. So they move from one country to another. taking people, and they are in the ship enjoying themselves. Many passengers remain loyal to their particular vessel of choice, and half of the passengers on the cruise ship are repeated guests. So it is actually a part of recreational activity also. So many people go into cruise because of the joy they derive, the luxury market, the luxury market. So luxury market is the last segment of the market. We have luxury. Uh, so luxury. So we have the luxury market. Okay, we have the luxury market. These are sister vessel that boast of sophisticated cuisine, excellent service and very satisfying cruise experience. Luxury market is usually for people with the income higher than $60,000 per annum, who can afford to pay $350 per day. So the ship are small, having about uh, uh, 700 capacity to carry. And the current trend in the cruise industry is emerging, consolidations, just as it is in the maturing market. In the maturing market, this allows great economy of scale, and also leads to more efficient marketing and cost saving by the virtue of the size of the organization. So you can now find out tourism as international ambassador, can be seen as an international ambassador, no? Fostering goodwill and close intercultural understanding among people of the world. So now, because of the nature and how tourism was growing, we began to see organization that controls the tourism of today, which is the World Tourism Organization, the WTO. So they have representatives of nationals and officials of tourism among the interested listed members. So people of different nations and backgrounds join their activities. So the government has its duty, domestic and duty. So several ministries for effective management and good supervision. So this is where government makes their policies and administrations in the different ways, and it helps the international organization to administer the tourism activities. Then we have another international organization, which is the International Air Transport Association, the IATA. The IATA is a global organization that regulates almost all the international airlines. So IATA facilitates the movement of people and goods through a network. It is it is a standard that we have tickets, waybill, and baggage checks. So another international organization responsible for tourism activities is the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. So they coordinate the development of all aspects of the civil aviation, specifically with regards to the formation of the international standard and practices. There are also other organizations related to tourism, tourism development, and tourism administration that are not known to the public. Each of these international development organizations share a common purpose that include tourism development. These organizations include the World Bank, and they have a substantial amount of money for tourism development. They have a substantial amount of money for tourism development. Most of this money is awarded in the form of low interest loans to developing countries. The International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which has a similar activity with the World Bank and the United Development Program (UNDP), assist countries with a variety of developmental projects, including tourism. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, which was established by the International Convention in Paris in 1960, is also involved in policy making. So those are people who brings the policies that guides tourism all over the world. The other function of OECD include to achieve the highest sustainable economic growth and employment and a rising standard of living in the member country while maintaining financial stability, start contributing to the development of the world economy. Now, to contribute to economic expansion in members as well as non-member countries through the economic development. They are also responsible to contribute to the expansion of the world trade on the multilateral and non-discriminating basis in accordance with international obligations. They also have the tourism committee that study various aspects of tourism, including tourism problems, and make recommendation to the national government. The committee also makes works on standard definition and methods of data collection, which are published in annual reports entitled Tourism Policy and International Tourism in OECD member country. So now you have known how the administration and the transport have been able to work. So let's look at our understandings. Let's talk to ourselves. Let's discuss. Let's see what we can be able to deduce from all these things we have said. Let's look at it how it is and see what we have gained. So let's has the administration of tourism activities been managed properly? So let's talk about this. Having said that, I will say thank you for listening to me, and we'll meet again next Saturday, same time. Thank you.